Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the future of Jorginho at Chelsea and those Juventus rumours in recent weeks, addressing those from a brilliant article from Liam Toomey in The Athletic and telling you the truth behind them. But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit the like button if you're enjoying the content because it helps out the channel as well. So let's get into it with this article in The Athletic by Chelsea reporter Liam Toomey, all about Jorginho, the rumours of him going to Juventus this summer and returning to work with Maurizio Sarri in Italy. There's been so much about it, so much mystery surrounding it, and Liam Toomey does a lot to sort of enlighten us about what's going on. So as you can see here, the truth about Jorginho and those Juventus rumours. Jorginho has been a defining presence at Chelsea since day one. That much was inevitable given his singular importance to Maurizio Sarri's tactical system and the subsequent demands placed on N'Golo Kante. The decision to immediately recast the entire team to the particular rhythm of his game was a deeply polarising one. It ensured that he often bore the brunt of broader fan frustrations with Sarri ball, yet speculation linking him with a move to Juventus and yet another reunion with Sarri in the coming transfer window will not go away. So what is going on? Apparently, sources have told The Athletic that the two men have not communicated since Sarri left Chelsea for Juventus last June, either on the phone or via text message. The Italian never showed much interest in building personal relationships with players during his time at Stamford Bridge or in leading the club's recruitment efforts. Then Liam Toomey goes into these potential swap deals Juventus want to make with Chelsea. Firstly, Pjanic for Jorginho. That pretty much died the day after it was reported by Fabrizio Romano. Originally, I spoke about that on the channel and why I thought it wasn't really a good deal. We've heard about Alexandro coming for maybe Emerson going in the other direction, or maybe Marcos Alonso as well. Maurizio has reported about that in the past. And really what Liam touches on is there's sort of a divide between what Juventus want to pay for a player like Jorginho and what Chelsea are willing to accept for Jorginho. Juventus are hoping to strengthen their midfield at a low cost while selling players who are surplus to Sarri's requirements to balance the books. Though under Marina Granovskaya, Chelsea do not sell low. They paid a fee rising to 57 million for Jorginho only 18 months ago, and it is unlikely that he's going to leave at a loss. Then finally, Liam Toomey talks about the connection between Jorginho and Frank Lampard and the trust that Frank Lampard has within Jorginho. Liam claims that those who know him say Jorginho has felt empowered to lead on and off the pitch this season, and he has particularly relished changing the minds of Chelsea supporters who were slow to be convinced by his game. It's a very good report by Liam Toomey. I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can go read the full article in full context. But looking at Jorginho, this season, 36 appearances, 7 goals, 2 assists. That's better than last season in terms of assists, especially. And I think the thing I want to touch on is being better than last season. That fan divide and the fan divide between Sarri, I think very much clouded the judgment of Jorginho. I think that's why I've been always such a big fan of him at Chelsea, because I think a big supporter of his talent on the pitch, because I felt that there was so much harsh criticism of him that I think was very much indicative of people's negative opinions on Sarri. And then when Sarri left and Lampard arrived, people started to judge Jorginho just on his own performances rather than connecting it to Maurizio Sarri. And I think Jorginho's mentality and character, I think, has been brilliant this season. On and off the pitch, we've heard stories of the way he's tried to help educate some of the younger players, try to keep them within good standards at the training ground, try and increase standards at Chelsea. Being given that vice captaincy role and holding the armband a few times, I think has been brilliant. And the way fans have turned more positively on him this season, when I think like a lot of people, thought that was going to be a very difficult challenge for Jorginho, considering the way he was treated by a lot of fans. Of course, there is that concern about him in his game, his age, his pace, especially in games where Chelsea's movement isn't as good. He can be overrun, especially in a 2 rather than a 3 in midfield when Chelsea aren't playing a 4-3-3. And I've spoke about this in recent videos where there's a doubt over what Chelsea's formation is going to be, and Frank Lampard may be wanting to change formation at times from a classic 3 in midfield, which Jorginho really operates best in, or a 2 in midfield, which he struggles with, which is where N'Golo Kante and a player like Mateo Kovacic could really thrive, and Jorginho could struggle for minutes. That vice captaincy and leadership, I think, is key. And I think it's for me the reason why I want Jorginho to stay for at least another season, because I think having older players in the squad is essential, and having that experience within the squad to lead some of those younger players who are still developing and learning, I think is also key. And I think losing the likes of Willian and Pedro out the dressing room potentially this summer, I think is going to be a big loss for Chelsea. You know, no matter what people's opinions on those players' performances and whether they're still good enough for Chelsea, I think you can't deny the level of success those players have had, the winning mentality they've helped instill at Chelsea and been a part of. You know, Willian and Pedro both won Premier League titles and big titles at Chelsea. So to just lose that, you need to replace it or need to keep a little bit of it. And I think Jorginho potentially could help Billy Gilmour. You know, Billy Gilmour is, I think, the next part of this, because of course, just before lockdown, Billy Gilmour came into the first side, got his starts against Liverpool and Everton, and was basically man of the match for both games. Whether Jorginho will come back into the first team as the Premier League restarts next week, and whether Billy Gilmour will keep his place, and sort of that relationship, can both players remain at the same time, and will Jorginho have to move on if Billy Gilmour is trusted more by Frank Lampard? But very much what I've heard from the likes of Liam Toomey and other reporters is that Jorginho is still very much valued at Chelsea. They're not going to sell him on the cheap. They're not going to sell him for anything less than they originally paid for him, and I think Frank Lampard likes the influence and positive influence he's had in the dressing room. And I'd still say it's not only off the pitch, on the pitch, I think Jorginho has had some brilliant moments this season. I really think he has. I think, you know, in that Super Cup against Liverpool, I think the midfield three of Jorginho, Kovacic and Kante worked really well. Unfortunately, that's a midfield three we haven't been able to see that much this season because of N'Golo Kante's injury. I think, you know, the pass against Watford, which was sublime. And for me, probably Jorginho's best moment of sort of where you can see the influence he has in changing a game was away to Arsenal, where Frank Lampard brought him on off the bench. We changed to a 4-3-3 instead of a 3-4-3, and Chelsea started to gain some control, and that was all down to Jorginho. And of course, Jorginho equalised in that game as well. And of course, there's been links to new midfielders that Chelsea could sign this summer, from Kai Havertz to Declan Rice to Philip Coutinho, whether Chelsea will go and invest in that area, and what could that mean for a player like Jorginho, and to raise funds for those players and sort of balance the books for Chelsea. Maybe selling Jorginho would be a good way of doing that if we were to go for a record fee for Kai Havertz, for instance. But I personally can't see this happening. I think that Chelsea, even if they were to sign a player like Kai Havertz, I think a player like Ross Barkley would be more likely to leave, be surplus to requirements. I think Jorginho, for me, maybe helping along a player like Billy Gilmour next season, because Billy Gilmour, look how young he is. Even though he's had some really good performances, I think it's maybe unfair to put the weight of the world on him and say he's going to be a regular starter. He's going to play like 40 games next season. I think there could be a case where Jorginho will have to step in at times whilst Gilmour's learning. You know, he's going to have struggles like every young player that's come into the team this year will, just because he's had a good start. The talent there for Gilmour is undeniable, and he's going to grow into that and get better and learn. And I think he can learn off a player like Jorginho, who's more experienced, who's had more years in the game, that can help him along and then potentially take over from Jorginho at the end of next season. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Personally, it's a bit of a shock to me that apparently Sarri and Jorginho apparently haven't reconnected at all since he left Chelsea, considering how key of a player Jorginho was for Sarri in his time at Napoli and of course for Chelsea last season. But I think what it shows is how committed Jorginho is to Chelsea, and his quotes, we hear so often from fans the frustration of, you know, players being at the club who actually love the club and want to improve the club and really want to do the best for the fans. And I think Jorginho has constantly done that. He's constantly said the right things. He's never made excuses. He's always wanted to prove himself and prove his harshest critics wrong. And I think for the most part, he's done that this season. I don't think anyone's going to say he's a flawless player. I don't think anyone's going to say he's a world-class player. But on his day, he can be an extremely effective player for Chelsea moving forward. But that is it for this video. Please let me know your opinions on the situation with Jorginho and Juventus in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.